Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ. So we have started off with speed distance time and we have completed 3 sessions in speed distance time. So we will go for the 4th session. So in this session what we are going to do is, it's a very important session. Okay, we are going to discuss meeting point questions. Okay, so the first session we have dealt with average speed and all and the basic concepts. Second session we completely dedicated for some application of allegation, and we have also seen the proportionality rules, okay, the product constancy rule. And in the third session we have discussed about the cases of trains and all, okay, all those related speed concepts that we have discussed. In this session we are going to look at meeting point questions. So it's like in linear track also, sometimes it is related to races or something, so it can be circle also. So two people running in the same direction, when they will meet, where they will meet. Two people running in the opposite direction, when they will meet, where they will meet. Here also the concept of relative speed is applicable. That's the reason why I have discussed about relative speed in the previous video and I kept this session after that. Okay, even if they are moving in the linear track, still if they are moving in the same direction, and it can be in opposite direction also, so here also the concept of relative speed is applicable. Okay, so we are going to look at in detail of these 2 sessions, and this I may be discussing about this in the next session, because I'll be discussing this along with the clocks also, because races, if it is circular track and the clock, it's actually same, because here 2 persons are moving, there the minute hand and hour hand is moving. That's the only difference. Okay, so here let me start off with linear track and we will see the possible questions. So we are here going to look at the scenarios rather than I'm giving you questions, and we will take up a session later for solving questions related to this. Okay, so let me give you a scenario. It's like this: you have a linear track, okay, or from city A to city B, or just take 2 points, okay, person A and person B. In fact, this I have discussed in the beginning of this session of speed distance time, but I have given a quick idea of this meeting point question. Okay, but I told you I'll be discussing this in detail. Okay, here I'm going to discuss that in detail, and after that we will discuss some of the complicated patterns also. Okay, so city A and city B, or point A and point B, okay, or 2 cities X and Y, whatever it is. Now a person A is moving from this direction and person B is coming from this direction, so they are traveling in opposite direction. Okay, so that is the first case. I'm talking about opposite direction. Now here the questions will be when they will meet, where they will meet. Okay, now so these are the 2 possible questions. Okay, so when they will meet, where they will meet. Again, the third possible questions will be when they meet for the nth time. It can be first time, second time, third time. If they meet for the nth time, how much distance they cover together. Okay, how much distance they cover together. So we are going to look at all these questions. So here in this case I am showing you how much distance they are going to cover when they meet for first time, second time, third time, fourth time, etc. Okay, and from that we can also understand if the speed ratio is given. Okay, so if let's suppose I am telling you this person is traveling at 60 kph and this person is traveling at 40 kph, and from this what we know, what we understood is the ratio of speed is 3:2. Okay, we know the ratio of speed is 3:2. Now in this kinds of questions the time taken will be always constant. The time will be constant because both are starting at the same time, and meeting means at a particular time when they meet both are taking the same time, so time is constant. So when the time is constant, if the speed ratio is known to you, you already know the distance ratio. Why? Because if time is constant, speed ratio and distance ratio is directly proportional. That's the relation that we have started off with, right? So the distance ratio will be again 3:2. Now if I am giving you this distance of the track is something like 100 meter, okay, then I tell you they have covered around 500 meters. Okay, we'll come to that situation. So if you finally understood that when they meet for nth time, it can be third time, it is going to be third time in this scenario. When they meet for third time, they covered 500 meters together. How they covered 500 meters, I am going to discuss, so that you will understand it faster, and in a second you will answer. Okay, so now I am telling you directly, when they meet for the third time, they will cover 500 meters. So out of that, how much A covered and how much B covered will be the question. Okay, or they will directly ask you how much distance is covered in total when they meet for the third time. So they are covering 500 meters when they meet for the third time together. But out of this, how much A covered? A will cover in this ratio. Okay, 3 out of 5 is what A covered and 2 out of 5 is what B will cover. So 300 and 200 is what they're going to cover. Okay, so let's see, when I told you this 500 is what the distance covered when they meet for the third time, let's see how they are going to cover this 500 meter when they meet for the third time. Okay, so I hope you understood this. A is moving like this. Okay, A is moving like this, B is moving like this. So when I say when they meet for the first time, it can be anywhere. Okay, so when they meet for the first time here, how much distance they covered together? A covered this much, B covered this much. Okay, so together they covered 100 meters. Together they covered one distance, that they completely covered that track. Okay, so they covered one distance. So let me write it like this. First meeting they covered one distance. Now they continue this process, so A will move to the same direction, B will come again to the same direction, so they keep on moving and keep on doing the same. So B will go like this. Okay, A will continue his running like this, or walking or cycling or swimming or whatever it is. Okay, it can be in a swimming pool, it can be in a road, it can be in a marathon or whatever it is. Okay, so now B reached here, A reached here. Okay, but there is no meeting in between, so they met here once, but they continued, and A reached at the side of B and B reached at the end of A. Okay, so now how much distance covered? Because A covered one distance to complete, B also covered one distance complete, both of them together covered two distance. Okay, because distance and both covered the same distance, but they are not stopping here, they are continuing this. So what will happen is A will come back and B will also come back like this, and they will meet. When they come back, they will meet. So this is the second meeting. But if you observe how much distance they covered total, this is one distance, and this is the second distance, and this is the third distance. So when they meet for the second time, second meeting, they cover 3 distance. Now what is going to happen? They continue the same thing. One person will go like this, second person will go like this and complete that distance. Okay, so 4 distance is over, but they are not meeting. But when they come back, they will meet. They will meet here. So this is the third meeting. Okay, so when they meet for the third time, how much distance they covered? 5D. Okay, so that's what I have discussed in the beginning. So this is a concept, because 500 is the length of the track, so 5D means 500. That's what I told you. Third meeting, 500 meter is the distance covered. Okay, now when they meet for the fourth time means one person will go like this and will complete, and they will come back and they will meet. Okay, then 7D. So fourth meeting, 7D. So now you can see a clear-cut pattern here. Okay, so what is that? Nth meeting, if you need to know, now onwards this is enough. You don't want to draw this, you don't want to think of it. If they are moving in the opposite direction, nth meeting means 2n-1 distance covered. Okay, that's it. It's not a formula, it's just a common sense. You don't want to remember like this. If you want, you can understand at that time itself. Just take the scenario where they are moving opposite direction. First meeting 1D, second meeting 3rd-D, fourth meeting 5D, like that it will go. So 2n-1D. So if I ask you 100th meeting, you cannot draw all these things, right? You understood this pattern. So 100th meeting, it will be 199D. Why? Because 2n-1, 2 into 100 minus 1, that is 199D. And if the distance is given as 100, then it is going to be 199 into 100. That means 199 meters. Okay, or 19.9 kilometers. So I hope this is clear for you. So this is what meeting point question. Now let's suppose if I am giving you the ratio of the speed like 60 and 40, which I have already told you. Okay, 60 and 40. And if I ask you 5th meeting, okay, in their 5th meeting, what is the distance covered by A? What is the distance covered by A? So 5th meeting, we already understood that they together will cover 900 meters, because meeting 5 means 9D. Why? 2 into 5 minus 1. 9D means 900 meters. That's the distance they cover together. And we know the ratio is 3:2. Okay. So we know the distance will also be covered in the ratio 3:2, because speed ratio is 3:2. When time is constant, the distance ratio will be the same as that of the speed ratio. So this will also be 3:2. Distance and speed both will be in the same ratio. So if you need to see how much distance A covered, just divide 900 in this ratio 3/5. Okay, and what you'll get is 540 is the distance covered by A, and 360 will be the distance covered by B. So that's how you can solve questions. So you can find the distance covered by A, distance covered by B. So if you understood that distance covered by A is 540, you can clearly tell where is the meeting point. Okay, so now the question can be about meeting point, right? So this is a linear track. Okay, so with length 100. Okay, so if you want, you can divide into 10 equal parts: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, or here 5 equal parts is enough because the distance is divided into 5 parts. But to be more accurate and to be more precise, I have just divided to make you understand in a much better way. Division with 5 equal parts is enough in this case. Okay, so the distance I divided into 10 equal parts. Each part is 10 meters. Okay, so that's the distance from A to B. Now I am asking you to where A will be, or where they meet at 9th meeting. Okay, in their 9th meeting, what will be the position? So we know that 9th meeting A will cover 540. Okay, A will cover 540. So 540 means how much distance? It's like this. A will cover 100 in this way. So 200 when he come back here. That means he'll be going back again 300. Here 400, 500. And when he come back, he will meet. Okay, so 510, 520, 530, 540. This is where he is going to meet. Or if you take B, that's why you can divide, okay, with 3 by 5 and 2 by 5, and you can mark easier. But here I'm just showing you manually. So B travels 360. That means from here one distance, that is 100, then 200, then 300, then 60. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what this point. So in both way you can get this point. Okay, so you basically need to know that 900 or 9D, then you can divide just like this, 3 by 5 or 2 by 5, and you can get the meeting point. Okay, so you'll get the meeting point, you'll get the distance covered when they meet nth time, or you will get distance covered by each person when they meet nth time. Okay, so these are the possible questions from this scenario. Now if you look at the reverse scenario, here there is no involvement of relative speed or anything. I'll come to that case. Okay, now here we have discussed about opposite direction, right? So let me discuss about same direction. So if they are moving in same direction, now obviously if both of them have same speed, they will always move together. So there is no possibility of question. They will have a different speed. Okay, so first time they will meet when they start, but when they are going to meet after this, so the person who is having more speed, he will reach at this point and he will come back, right? When he will come back, you will meet. So now from this you can understand how much distance covered. See, the person who's having more speed covered already one distance, and he came back this much. By that time he covered, the person who's having less speed covered this much only. So together they covered 2 distance. Okay, so 1 meeting, 2 distance. The first meeting, 2 times distance is covered by both of them together. Okay, so 2 distances covered by both of them together. After this person will reach here and this person will reach here. Okay, so now one more distance covered, 3 distance, and then they will come back. Okay, and they will meet. So if you see second meeting, 4D, and this process will continue, and you can get a pattern here. I'm not writing or drawing too much of this. We have already understood the first case. So if it is nth meeting, 2n will be the distance covered. Okay, so now it is crystal clear. If you are moving in same direction, nth meeting, 2n distance will be covered. If you are moving in opposite direction, if it is nth meeting, 2n minus 1 distance will be covered. That's it. Now onwards this question is over just by using this. Okay, same direction, 2n is the distance covered. Opposite direction, 2n minus 1 is the distance covered. Then if you know the speed ratio, you can get meeting point also. Okay, so once you got this distance covered, you can get the distance covered by each person, and you can easily see the distance, or you can easily understand the meeting point. Okay, so where they will meet also can be found out very easily in both these cases. Okay, now let's take a different scenario. Okay, so it's like this. You have 2 cities, again X and Y. Okay, now a train starts from the city X. Okay, so train A. Okay, I can mark it as train A or T1. So from city X the train A starts, and from city Y train B starts. Okay, now train A starts at 4 p.m. and train A reaches at 5 p.m. Okay, so the time taken by train A to cover this distance is given, that is actually 1 hour, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now let's take the case of train B. Okay, so train B starts from 4 p.m. and reaches at 5:30 p.m. So train B time taken is also given. Okay, so if you see here, the distance is constant. Okay, distance is constant, both are traveling the same distance, and the time ratio is given. What is that? See, TA and TB, train A is taking 1 and train B is taking 1.5 hour. That means this can be understood as 2:3. Okay, so the ratio of time taken, this is a time taken ratio, is 2:3. Now once we know that the distance is constant, what is the relation with time and speed? When the distance is constant, they are inversely proportional. So if this is the time ratio, we know the speed ratio as 3:2. Why? Because the distance is constant. Okay, so we got the speed ratio as 3:2. So I hope you understood this. Now see, during this transaction, so train A moves from city X to city Y and train B comes from city Y to city X, and the time is 4 to 5 and 4 to 5:30. So somewhere they will definitely meet, right? Because starting time is same, so obviously they will meet, and when they will meet or where they will meet will be the question here. Okay, so we are going to look at that question. Okay, so when they will meet and where they will meet, that will be the question here. So what we understood here is, see, the time taken is given, so the time ratio is 2:3. So we got the speed ratio. Now let's look at a different scenario. If time is constant, because see, when I tell that they are going to meet, okay, so when they meet, the time is constant actually, because both are starting at the same time. So when they meet means the time is constant. Okay, so let's take that situation when time is constant. Okay, so we know the speed now. We know the speed, that is 3:2. So if time is constant, what is the relation between speed and distance? Both are directly proportional. Okay, so when time is constant, speed and distance is, why? Because time is equal to distance by speed. So the distance and speed is directly proportional, so I can write the distance ratio as 3:2. Okay, so 3:2 is the distance ratio when the time is constant. Okay, so that means if you get this question, we understood that the distance is divided in this ratio 3 and 2. Why? Because see, the speed is in this ratio. So speed ratio and distance ratio will be same when time is constant. And why time is constant? Because they are meeting. Okay, when meeting, the time is constant. So what you can do is, to know where they meet, this is enough for us. Okay, because what we'll do is we'll divide into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to know where they will meet, we can just use this ratio. So the first person or the first train will cover 3/5. Okay, and the second will cover 2/5 of the distance. Okay, 3/5 and 2/5 of the distance. Why? Because why the first person is covering more? Because he's taking less time, and that means he's having more speed. Second person is covering 2/5 only because he's having less speed compared to the first person. So the first person will cover maximum, and he's covering 3/5 of distance. So whatever be the distance, it can be 200 meters, it can be 300 meters if it is from city A to city B. It depends. Okay, it can be 100 meters from one point to another point. So where they meet, we just need to know this ratio only, and whatever distance they give, we can get the answer. Okay, if it is 200 meter, accordingly we will do 200 into 3/5. So if let's suppose this is 100, then see, we know that the meeting will happen here. This is the third point from here, or from this point it is 2. Okay, you can consider from any side, but it is better to take from this side. Take one as your favorite side always. So take from this side. So 3 out of 5, that means third point is here. So they will meet here. If you consider from here, that should be the second point. This is 1, this is 2. So the meeting will happen here. So the question where they meet is answered, right? Why? Because see, the time ratio is given. We can write the speed ratio because the distance is constant, and when they meet means the time is constant, so we can get the distance ratio, which is equal to the speed ratio, because directly proportional. Okay, from this we know that. So we can get the distance divided like this. So we will get the meeting point. Now what is the next question? Meeting time. So what you can do is, see, what we know is the distance ratio, that is 3:2. Now consider one person only. I told you to take this side. Okay, so consider person A, or the first person, or the train A. Okay, now what you can do is consider one person only. So we know the speed is constant. Okay, so if you take A alone, A is taking 1 hour. Okay, so the speed is constant there. Now the assumption is we are not using the concept of acceleration. We assume that he's moving in a uniform speed. Okay, that's the most important assumption here. The concept of acceleration we will discuss in the next video. Okay, next video I'll be talking about circles. Okay, then after that I'll be talking about the concept of acceleration and the associated problem. Here we are not interested in considering the acceleration. We're taking this as a uniform speed. Okay, so what will happen is distance ratio and time ratio will be directly proportional when speed is constant. Why? Speed is equal to distance by time. Okay, so these two are directly proportional. So time ratio you can write it as 3:2. So if you want to calculate the time, still you can do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you make 5 divisions. Okay, so the time taken will be 3/5 of t, and this person will be 2/5 of t. So if you divide 1 hour, okay, so I'm taking first person only. So first person 1 hour. If you divide that, okay, so this is the meeting point, 3/5. Now how will you find that exact value? If it is 1 hour into 3/5. Okay, so you can do this 60 into 60 minutes. You can divide. Okay, what you will get is 36 minutes. So in the 36th minute, he will meet the second person. So he will cover this much distance, 3/5 of d in 36th minute. So after meeting, he will travel 24 minutes. Okay, that is what 2/5 time. That is different case. Here we have taken only one person. So I hope you understood. 4.36 hour is the meeting time. Okay, so or 4 hour 36 minute is the meeting time. So how we got all these things? See, we started off with this. We know the distance is constant, and we know the time ratio is given as 2:3. So train A and train B is what we are considering. So we got the speed ratio as 3:2. Why? Because the distance is constant, time and speed is inversely proportional, so we inverted. Okay, so we got this. Then what we did is we understood that the time is constant when they meet. Okay, so we know the speed ratio. So speed ratio is 3:2. So we know the speed and distance is directly proportional, so distance ratio will be 3:2. Then the third case, when we consider one person alone, we know the speed is constant and there is no concept of acceleration which is used here. We are considering he is in uniform speed throughout his journey. So in 1 hour, the speed is same. Okay, so when speed is constant, once you know the distance ratio as 3:2, we can get the time ratio also as 3:2. So by using this, we can get the meeting point, and by using this we can get the meeting time. So here, if you know the total distance as 100, okay, or anything, total distance as d, you will divide into this ratio 3/5 or 2/5. If you divide it as 3/5, take from this side. If you divide as 2/5, take from this side. Okay, similarly, time taken also you will calculate in that way. So if it is 1 hour, the time taken of the common time of travel, if it is 1 hour, we'll come to this common time of travel in the next example. So it is 1 hour, you will divide in this ratio 3/5. Okay, or if you divide in this ratio 3/5, then start from here. That means 436. Or you can also take 2/5. Then you need to take from here 5 minus 24. That is also 436. I hope this concept is clear for all of you. Now let's take a different question. See, from city A to city B. Okay, so two cities A and B. So you can name the city. So one person is starting from city A, another person starting from city B. Okay, so they are moving in a car. Okay, so person name you can give anything. So P1. Okay, a person 1, he is starting from city A. Okay, will move like this. City B, P2 will move like this. And this is a pattern which we have already started the discussion. So in this pattern, what is given? The time is given, right? So P1 is starting at 5 p.m. and reaching at 10 p.m. Okay, and P2 is starting at 7 p.m. and reaching at 11 p.m. Now here, if you see from the previous question, what is the difference here? The starting time is not the same, but the distance is constant. Okay, but obviously here what you can understand is, if the question is related to meeting point, the meeting will happen only at the common time of travel. Okay, so meeting will only happen after 7, because anyway P1 is not reaching the other point B before 7. He is reaching only at 10. Okay, and he is starting at 7. So the meeting will definitely happen somewhere in between, and it will only happen after 7. That's a common sense understanding. Okay, so we know that meeting will happen after 7. So here, if you observe, A is taking how much time? A is taking 5 hours for the journey, B is taking 4 hours for the journey. So B is taking less time, that means B is having more speed. That is again common sense, okay? See, all these things are not required to solve this question. Once again, I am going to discuss the concept that we have discussed earlier. Then I will tell you the shortcut. With the shortcuts, you will solve this question in 30 seconds. Okay, not even 30 seconds. I will discuss the shortcut towards the end, but before that, I want you to understand how we come at that shortcut. Okay, so what we now know is the time ratio. Now, if you consider the first person only, what is his time of journey? It's like this. He is starting at 5 p.m. and reaching at 10 p.m. right? Now, if you divide each hour, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So, do you think if the question is related to meeting point, this much is relevant? This much 5 to 7 is not relevant for us. Okay, only this portion is relevant because the question is again related to meeting point or meeting time. So this much portion is relevant because the meeting will happen somewhere here. 7 to 10 is the time which is important for us. 7 to 10 is the time which is going to be important for us. Now, if you look at the ratio which is given, the time ratio is given as 5:4. So we can convert, we can get the speed ratio as 4:5 because the distance is constant, and we can get the distance ratio as 4:5. The step we have already done, and we can convert the time ratio to 4:5. Okay, so we have seen how you are doing this conversion. Now, one point is here, if you look at B is reaching at 11 o'clock, right? But is this relevant to us? No, because the meeting is happening before 10 o'clock. So B reaches at 11 o'clock is not that important for us anyway. This time 7 to 10 is what is going to be important for us. Now, like in the previous case, let's consider the first person alone. Don't consider or don't look at the second person. So what you can do is here we understood that the distance ratio will be 4:5 and the time ratio will be 4:5, and meeting time is what you need to find out. Okay, so here the meeting will happen only at this common time of travel. So what we need to do is we need to divide this common time of travel in the given ratio. Okay, so we need to consider this common time of travel, that means 3 hours. So here what is important for us is this 3 hours. We are not concerned about this, and we are not concerned from 10 to 11 also. Only 3 hours is what important for us. Okay, the common time of travel. Now what we are going to do is, let's take the first person alone and let's divide that into 9 equal parts. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, all these things you don't want to do during exam, just to explain the concept. Okay, so this is 7 p.m. Why divided into 9 equal parts? Because the distance we can divide into 9 equal parts. So where the meeting will happen? The meeting will happen at the 4th point, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The meeting will happen at this point. See, this is only the common time of travel I am considering. Okay, so 4th point means 4/9 of D, and this is 5/9 of D. Now, you don't look at the second person, only look at the first person, okay, to understand the concept. Now, see, 4/9 of D means 4/9 of T also. And we know the time as 3 hours, okay, we know the time as 3 hours. So, what is 4/9 of 3 is what you need to find out. Now, why this 3? Because we are considering from 7 to 10 only. That is a common time of travel. The possibility of meeting is during this time, okay. So that's why 4/9 of 3. So this we will write as, okay, so 4/9 into 3 is what you need to do, and you will get it as 4/3. So 4/3 means 1 hour 20 minute. So now what you need to do with this 1 hour 20 minute? You need to add this 1 hour 20 minute from where the common time start. Where the common time start, that is at 7 o'clock. So the meeting will be 1 hour 20 minute after the common time start. That means 8 hour 20 minute. So 8:20 is the time when they meet. Okay, so if the question is about meeting time, it is 8:20. So what we have done is we have considered only the common time. See, now onwards, if you get this kind of question, just need to see the common time of travel. Okay, now see, the shortcut is very simple. See, from the question itself you understood the common time of travel is from 7 to 10. So that's enough for you. Common time of travel, you got it as 3 into what you need to do is the speed component. Forget about the time component, distance component, everything, the conversions that we made, everything. That is to understand the concept. Now you take the speed component of the first train. Okay, so here what is given is the time, right? So time ratio is what given. So 5:4 was the time ratio given. So what is the speed ratio? 4:5. So from this only we are going to solve. Take the speed component of the first train. That means 4. So 4/9. That's your answer. This is enough. Just understand the common time of travel. Why? Because a meeting will be during common time of travel. So then speed component of the first train, that's enough. So 3 into 4 by 9, you got 4 by 3, that's 1 hour 20 minute. Add this, and that's the most important point. Add this time from where the common time starts, that is 7 o'clock. So 7 plus 1 hour 20 minute, 8:20 is the answer. So I hope this is clear for you. This kind of question, what you need to do, just look for the common time of travel. So here it was 3 hours, 7 to 10. Into, look for the speed component. What is given? Time is given 5:4. Speed component means 4:5. And the speed component of the first train or the first person, that is 4. So 4 by 5. That's it. And whatever you get, that time you need to add with the common time. Okay, means from where the common time start. 7 o'clock plus 1:20, that means 8:20 is your answer. So this much only to solve this question, but to explain the concept I have taken all the session. Okay, so that you will not forget the idea. So in the first question also that is the same, because there is starting point is same in both case. So common time is actually 4 to 5. So you take the common time, that is 1 hour, into what was given, the time ratio is given 2:3. So 3:2 the speed ratio. What is the speed component of the first one? 3 by 5. So you get 36. And this 36 you need to add to 4. That's where the common time start. Okay, so 4:36 was your answer. Here 8:20 is your answer because common time is 3 and the time ratio is given as 5:4, speed is 4:5. So speed component of the first train means 4 by 9. So 4 by 3 means 1 hour 20 minute. So this 1 hour 20 minute you add to 7. So 8:20 is the time. I hope this concept is clear for all of you.